What's up, and welcome back to another Real Estate Video Blueprint podcast. This podcast is a little bit different. It is a recording from a webinar that Tim and I did with Jason Pantana on the practical application of AI in video. Hope you enjoy it. We had a lot of fun during the webinar, so let us know what you think and how this helps you in your video journey.
This webinar has started. What's up, everybody? Hi, Tim, Macy. Hi, Katie Day. How are we doing today?
What's up, Jason Pantana?
I am just doing some webinars. I've been doing webinars all day. We got folks jumping in here right now. If you are jumping into the webinar, tell us who's your favorite. Is it Katie? Is it Tim? Who's your favorite?
Oh, we're just going right into this.
We're just getting straight into
right off the bat.
Katie got one. Katie on the
Ginger.
board.
Somebody said my name.
Raphael, you are
Brad?
Dead to me, bro. Where's Brad? Kaima also. Can you?
Where's Brad? Somebody said. Ow.
Could you do a poll?
Amazing.
I didn't set up a poll in advance, and I don't feel like doing that now, Katie.
Yeah, don't mess with. I like this comment section. This is great.
Should I go ahead and write down Katie for my own answer in the doc?
Hey, no. On a serious note, though, real quick, do drop in where you're calling in from. I love to see where everybody's at because that's my most fun part about doing this is just seeing national. These things
Blue Ridge,
A couple
Georgia
Chicagos.
in the house.
Nice.
Hattiesburg.
Oh, look at all that.
All of California. They just took the whole state of California. I like it.
Dude, that's amazing. We got the Bay Area boys. At least one of them's here.
Yeah. Hey, so a couple of notes. I'm watching the participants just climb high into the hundreds. So Zoom caps us at 500 on this webinar. So when we hit 500, it's max attendance. And so anybody who's watching this, just be advised, you will get a copy of the replay. Is this recording? Yeah, it's recording. I've made it so that it records. And everybody who's on the attendance right now is going to get a copy of the replay. If somebody missed the webinar, if you have to leave early, if you want to hear something again, Tim's taking pictures.
Yeah, I got to. 3 something. That's solid.
There we go. We got it. We're going to send everybody a copy of the replay because I'm pumped for today's conversation. So when you got the invite for the presentation, Katie, you got to turn the gestures off. They're going bananas with the balloons.
I was trying to be celebratory for the start of the fall.
I like balloons.
Because I'm being ADD right now, I'm going to turn my gestures on. Wait for it. Or reactions is what they're called. Ready? Oh, yeah.
Wow. I don't think I paid for lasers. I need to upgrade my
You
system.
thumbs down, it is rain clouds. And it actually
wow.
pull you around.
All right, come on. Let's get the people what they came for.
This is the AI that we're talking about.
Some content here.
Let's focus. So today, I'm really excited for this conversation because both of you are leveraging AI in impactful ways. There's a lot of conversation out there about AI, and honestly, it's like, this is so cool. You can do these things that nobody cares about. I believe AI is the technology of the day, but I believe looking for commercially viable use cases where it's AI that moves the needle in your business, meaning it either saves you time or it enables you to do some capacity of marketing, sales, operations that you weren't doing without the AI. It's a scaler in your business. And so, Tim, today we're going to get into what you're doing and what Katie's doing. Tim is leveraging 11 Labs, and I would argue of all the people I've seen using 11 Labs, which for those who don't know what 11 Labs is, it is the AI we've been talking about for a couple of years now that's likely the best AI product for voice synthesis. It can clone your voice and sound just like you, but Tim has used their pro mode whereby his voice, honestly, I did not know it was his AI until he told me. So we're going to break down not only how is he getting such a great AI voice of himself, but also how is he actually using it in his videos on social media and what is it doing for his business. So we're going to talk about the voice replication from 11 Labs with Tim today. And then we're going to jump into Katie. She's using a handful of tools involving ChatGPT, custom trained GPTs. We're going to talk about how she's training GPTs to help her streamline the prep work for making videos, the script writing for making videos. We're going to talk about how she's using Canva and CapCut for templates to just quickly speed up the editing process, and ultimately how those tools together have enabled her to create a new Instagram channel that generated about 8,000 followers in its first couple of months. And I want to say 1.5 million views on the videos you've generated from a brand new channel.
1.6.
You want to jump down on that?
1.6.
1.6 million. So how many months has your new Instagram account? Because everybody knows Move Me to Texas, but there's another Instagram account that you started. How many months has that been in existence?
I started it back in December at the end of the year.
Okay, so it's had effectively the first quarter of this year to work its way up to about 8,000, I think, give or take some followers. And what's amazing is they are all, for the most part, hyper local, concentrated in your local marketplace because of not only the strategy involving AI, but also the topics that you're choosing to create are very local in their nature. And so that's attracting a local audience. And it is indeed AI helping you find and source those ideas. I'm just kind of teasing the audience. Any little bit more tease you want to add to that, Katie?
You teased enough, Jason.
Okay.
Thank you for your teasing.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. So
hey, one little asterisk on that too. We're going to dive into Katie's new account, but little disclaimer, I would ask that you do not follow it because that account has a lot of local followers and we don't want a bunch of real estate agents following that account. And we're super excited to have you here.
Just
I would just go to
follow the OG account and it has the posts on there. If you want to replicate them or copy them or steal them or whatever, that's fine. But if you follow Moving to Texas.
Yeah. So in all seriousness, don't follow it because you'll mistrain her algorithm that she's worked hard to train and then she has to start over. So she's being very generous in sharing the strategy with you, and all the videos that are on the new channel, to echo Tim, they're also being collabed on her main Moving to Texas channel. And so you'll be able to learn everything you need just based upon following that account. All right, Tim, good idea.
Yeah.
All right, so Tim, Macy, this is sort of a collective webinar. It's not my webinar or Tim's or Katie's. We're working together on this one. So I believe most of us know each other. For those who know me and don't know Tim Macy, the wonderful Tim Macy, one of the premier, I would argue, video marketing real estate professionals. In fact, Tim, if I go back in time, you started a wildly successful Facebook group years ago called RETV, and that's now been evolved into a full-fledged, is it fair to say that you took that super successful Facebook group and that became sort of the springboard into what is now REVB, Real Estate Video Blueprint?
Yeah, I think kind of everything builds on itself. And I do think we're always looking for that one hit solution. Like that one thing I'm going to do is going to solve my problems, when if anything that I've done is an example of what you should do.
I'm not thumbs downing you. I got to turn my reactions off.
It's just that
was perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to Tom Ferry events and just trying to connect with people that were doing video. And then we decided to do a Zoom call together. Then we decided to make a Facebook group together. Katie and I got together and said, hey, I think we need a whole event on this stuff. And so, I think it's just how things just build on each other little by little. But if you're going in the right direction, I think you're always pretty happy with the outcome.
And so I've been fortunate to have been invited to speak at Real Estate Video Blueprint, now known as REVB for the Inside Scoop insiders, for 3 years now. I think this is my third year coming up, and we're in San Antonio. And I don't really know when we're there. I think we're there in like 3 or 4 weeks. When are we there?
End of April, yeah, for sure.
At the end of
April 24th and 25th.
Yeah, and what's been exciting is how much the conversation has shifted to AI, because we recognize that, hey, video is the premier marketing format. There is no marketing channel like video, but AI is the ultimate amplifier and accelerator of the process, because let's face it, making video is tedious and time consuming. And if you can find ways to shortcut and cheat code your way to producing better videos, more videos, you should. And so, Tim, I want you to talk about what you're doing with 11 Labs, and I want to just give you the floor to share that with the group here.
Yeah, and so one thing you should know is everybody gives me a hard time because I don't put out that much content. At least that's what people like to give me a hard time about. And the fact is, like, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I don't feel like I have enough time. Like, drop a 1 in the chat if you want to make more videos, but you don't feel like you have enough time. Like, time is an issue. Well, I was feeling the same thing, and it was funny. I have a videographer full-time, but my wife and I had just gone out a couple times and we just done stuff. And we were like, you know what? I should put together a video of this day we had. I should put together this voiceover video. And I kept telling my videographer, I'm like, yeah, I need to record that voiceover for you. I need to record that voiceover for you. And I just was never getting around to doing it. And so finally on AI Marketing Academy with Jason, and I'm like, I really got to do this 11 Labs thing. And so that's kind of where it started, was diving into 11 Labs and just giving it a shot. And so I can give you real quick. This is my scripts and captions, trying to make sure I don't have anything weird over here. Like your chat GPT conversations are your new tabs. You have to make sure you don't have any embarrassing tabs open. It's like the same thing on your chat GPT conversations. So yeah, I'm trying to look for good HomeKit stuff for my house, but I have all of my scripts and all my captions that I write are in the same place.
Yeah.
You could probably do this better than I am, but I like doing them all in the same one. I feel like it learns more of how I want it to say things. So first, I just wrote to ChatGPT like what we did and asked it to make me make me a script.
Yep.
And so then I copied this script into 11 Labs, right? Oh, you know what? I don't know if I shared audio.
You can stop share. Well, so while you're doing that, I'm going to talk about your ChatGPT. So Tim is putting all of his scripts in the same chat. Technically not advisable, but what he is gaining the advantage of is what's called a context window. And so what's happening is it is in fact seeing the context of prior conversations in the same chat. And so it's iteratively improving itself to be able to take on more of what he wants based upon the back and forth conversation in this chat. Now, when Katie's up, we are going to talk about custom training some GPTs. So Tim, I have good news. There is an efficiency gain on this that we'll get to with Katie, but let's pick it up. So you have a script that ChatGPTs help you create, and then you copy and paste it into 11 Labs. Back to you, Tim Macy.
Okay, so you can see here, I just kind of wrote what I did. I was like, this is what we did that Saturday night. Cool. And it wrote me this punchy script. I copied this script. I brought it into into 11 Labs. This is 11 Labs. And I copied it in. I changed a couple things from the script, but here's how it turned out. And you have all these cool settings over here, which we'll talk about.
Parents' night out in Mystic.
It's also a little bit louder. So just
actually, you fixed it. That was pretty good. Let's do it again.
Okay, good.
We checked into the all-new Delamar Hotel at Mystic Seaport, and it did not disappoint. We were the second guests ever to check in, which meant we got to experience this stunning boutique.
So that sounds exactly like me. And what's funny is, Jason, at the beginning, if you listen, ready?
Parents' night out in Mystic. We checked into the all-new Delamar Hotel at Mystic.
I was like, God, that's too fast. It's too fast. And I almost redid it. I almost didn't post it because I could hear that it was a little off. But after I posted it, nobody else could hear, right? It was only me that had a problem with it. And so
and I almost think too, like when you think about the hook and you only have 3 seconds, you want that Parents Night Out at Mystic to be a little bit faster and louder, right? So the people are like, oh wait, let me hear more out about what they just did.
And if it was a little jarring, I think, like you said, Katie, I think it only worked as a better hook. So I probably did 3 versions of this because you can hit.
And click on history over there to the right, Tim, where it says settings and history. So you can go back and forth and you can see old versions of it.
Oh, I did 1, 2, 3, 4.
More than 3.
I did 5. So I did
You're
5
a liar,
different.
is that what you're saying, Tim? I'm just kidding.
Sits on the front of lies.
Not the first time my internet history showed I was a liar. Moving on.
Why do you keep going back to that?
So
I'm gonna pull you away, Tim.
Jason, it's trauma is what it is.
So I did. I had 5 different versions of it. You change a word here and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, even doing that, it was I still liked the process more than me holding a mic and trying to record it myself.
And best of all, you said your videographer kept saying, I need you to record this thing. Now they don't, because they can just cut you out of the process creatively and focus on getting more output. What's also nice here about 11 Labs is show folks where it's using their model. It's currently using their 11 Turbo V 2.5 model, which is their latest model. Go back, hit that little back arrow at the top there next to select a model. So you can mess with it. You can change the speed. You can slow it down or make it talk faster. You can increase or decrease stability. You can increase or decrease similarity. But here's what you should be aware of when you do that in 11 Labs. There's a term called, it's like, well, we'll just call it a glitch. But they will produce, if you mess with it too much, it can produce those little glitches, which sound like the little grainy voice or like internet. It's almost like when your internet connection's slow on Zoom and you get slowed down or sped up. Those are glitches. It can produce those, but I love that it's saving it. And when you're happy with it, you just show them where the little download arrow is toward the bottom right.
Right here, download, I'm done. I pull it into the video editor and then I drop some clips over it and we're good.
So when you do that, where do you edit the video at? Are you still using your favorite Final Cut Pro or where's your editor working in?
So on this one, I did it in Final Cut. And so this part has not been outsourced to AI yet. So I use that voiceover as that base clip. And then I'm just putting video over it that matches the voiceover. But the long story short, this is
after settling in,
one of the most.
Show us a couple of the videos.
I was gonna say this could be the most successful video I've posted on Instagram. It just passed 40,000 views today.
Absolute perfection. Next stop, delicious dessert cocktails at ATY. Then over to Misfits for more drinks before hitting Dive at Port of Call to dance to a live DJ. At that point, we felt like we were raging deep into the night. But turns out, it was only 10 p.m. We called the hotel car.
So what I like about this style of voiceover and everything else, I think it's keeping people hooked because of how quickly I'm telling the story. We went here, and don't get me wrong, the first place we went was this new hotel they just opened up. So that, I think, is engaging, grabs the attention. But then we just went thing after thing after thing and kept people engaged the whole time. And if you look at the numbers, I'm at 1,000 shares, 40,000 views, 1,000 shares. And my favorite part about it is 95% of my audience is non-followers, meaning this thing has found an audience far outside the people that follow me. And I say that because if you know me, I built my business in Texas. I've got a bunch of agents that follow me. Like I've got a bunch of people in Texas that follow me. We moved to Connecticut and now I'm trying to build a local audience, which is not an easy thing to do. But this is obviously getting outside of my followers and getting in front of more local people.
So Tim, I want you to double down on that. And Katie, you can jump in too, because I think it's going to come up when we talk about what you're doing with your videos. One of the algorithmic considerations of Instagram and platforms like Instagram is a term called topic authority. You're more likely, so like Tim said, that he's getting shown to 81.5% non-followers. So what that means is this video has created some level of Tim, this creator, Tim, is an authority on this subject matter. And so the algorithm is now picking up this video and showing it to people whose interests are aligned with the focus of this video. And so what a lot of creators on Instagram, businesses on Instagram do that I think is a mistake is they vary their subjects too much. They talk about this and then they jump over here to this and then they talk about something else. And what they're doing is they're diluting the algorithm's understanding of who they are. So Tim just made a comment about how he's new to Connecticut, so he's rebuilding up his brand in Connecticut. And so he's going to keep hitting hyper-local content because what will happen algorithmically is every next video is going to be another deposit in the bank account of creating a topic authority on that subject matter so that the algorithm will basically get to a point where it's like it's only going to show your videos to people who care about that kind of local content in that area. Any additional explanation on that, Tim?
And I like... I like some of the comments, right? Because Corey said, I know this wasn't your point, but I didn't know there was so much to do in Mystic. Like that was the point. That was the point. And I think that for my wife and I, like we'll go out and we'll do all this stuff and we'll get some video, we'll get a little video here, video there. And I never know how to put it together. Like, I'm like, how should I put all this together in like one coherent video? And I think these where you just go to like 4 or 5 different places and put that story together one after another with one of these voiceovers is great. Because there's another one that I did that I showed that did well too. That was the same thing. It's like we went to this barbecue place and then we went over here to get coffee and then we went over to this store and then that was that. Like in that little story style voiceover video is doing well.
So share the 11 Labs screen again, if you would, Tim.
While he's pulling that up, another point that I thought was really interesting is even with his 11 Labs voiceover, it says like an or an in the voiceover.
I know.
And it makes it seem so much more real.
So I'd like to point out a couple of features, and I need to do this with you, Tim, since you're controlling the screen. First, will you just copy your script and delete it for a second and type my name, Jason Pantana? I want to see if it missays my last name. It often does.
Yeah, and that was the thing too on the edits.
You got to spell my name right though. You got to text right in there.
AI gets it wrong. I get it wrong.
Okay. Try
right.
just give it a hit generate speech first. Yeah.
Jason Pantana.
Okay, so it got it right. It sounded good. Sometimes it says Pantana. And so what I'll do is I'll capitalize the N.
Hold on, let's see if this does something different. And now let's
at you.
Slow it down a little bit because that was quick.
Yeah.
And then let's get less stability and more similarity.
Let's make it crazy.
Jason Pantana.
Okay, so it's nailing it clearly. But what I wanted to communicate to the audience is the way 11 Labs reads this text is the way a musician reads music. And so when you think about a musician, they have quarter note rest and half note rest, and they have staccato and forte, and they have different instructions that tell it to play the music differently in the sheet music. And so in the same way, your punctuation, your grammar, your line breaks, your spacing, the use of a ... ellipses, all these things, like the exclamation points, it changes everything. Try it again.
The one and only, the living legend, Jason Pantana.
Thank you. For the living legend, do you know how to do M dashes?
No.
So just do like hyphens on either side of it with spaces around them. It would be fine. Yeah, like that. And then do the same on the other side. See if that makes it a little bit more like pronounced. That's
I
an
don't like people can see me typing.
Come on, Tim.
Maybe I'm just
Come
messing
on,
everything
Tim.
up.
Tim, you're
There's so much
blushing.
pressure.
Why are you failing?
There's so much pressure. All right, ready?
All right.
The one and only, the living legend, Jason Pantana.
So they can space that out a little bit. But sometimes you can actually, like where it misspelled my name, I actually just put my name in Google and then it gave the pronunciation of how you say my name. And I copied like the dictionary term and it read it and it was perfect. So it reads it that way.
One thing on Hector's question, what type of video should we be doing with 11 Labs? I like this voiceover style stuff. I was doing voiceover vloggy videos before, and this has just made it easier for me to get the audio. I will say, Jason, like you were showing my video back when I first did Hey Jen, and we're doing the whole video part. It was just a little off. Like the video action on Hey Jen was enough off where I didn't feel comfortable putting out a lot of content that way. But 11 Labs audio, I have no problem with now. Like I don't have anybody ask me if that's AI audio. Like they just think it's me. And I think video is getting closer, but for me, I haven't seen it there yet.
It's still got some room.
I'm keeping an eye on it.
I pay for HeyGen, or I have credits that I've loaded up into HeyGen. So I'll use HeyGen for voiceover. And it's definitely a little bit harder, right? Like I have to put it in and it gives me a video back. And then I just use the audio from the video. I don't use me talking. But this is definitely a lot more user friendly. But I think it, obviously costs more as well.
So I want to comment on John's question. I want to go back to, I think he said it's Hector's question first, which is what videos would this work for? So Tim, I definitely think the voiceover sort of vlog, hyper local content is obvious play. So checking out local businesses, local amenities, neighborhood tours, showcasing your town, anything along those lines. This is a perfect use case. And the other is property tours. Property tours, I believe, are another opportunity where you're walking through with your phone or your camera, grabbing interior footage, and you can use your voiceover. Now, John asked a question, which was, how do you sync video with your narrated script? Tim, can I ask you to jump back over to 11 Labs on your screen?
Yeah. Let's see.
Because I don't know if you've have you used their voice changer feature, Tim?
I don't think so.
Okay. So hit over on the left-hand sidebar under playground, hit voice changer.
Yeah.
And so with voice changer, you can record audio. So I want you to imagine this. What if you edited your video first and then you just talked over it at the pace you wanted it? Now this cuts out the having ChatGPT write your script for you. Okay, does that make sense? But you could just record it on a voice memo or right here directly, whatever it is, or your video editor could record this. And then they could modify it to your voice. So can you see if I can record to it? I don't know if it will let me, Tim.
Well, let me see what happens if I hit record audio.
It's going to probably pull up a little prompt.
Let's see. Enable microphone. Here we go. Allow. And let's get the good microphone. This one. So I'm going to record something. You ready?
Yeah.
Jason Pantana invited me to be on a webinar to talk about AI, but I didn't really want to because it was lunchtime and I was kind of hungry. I did it anyways. Now I'm here talking to 400 plus people about AI and video for real estate.
All right. Now it's got your Tim's first voice on the right-hand sidebar. Do you see that? Is that the right voice? And then it's got your stability and similarity drug. I don't know if you want to move those. I guess leave them where they're at. So you might want to move those a little bit. And then generate speech when you're ready. I don't know how long this will take. This model, change your model from the V2.
Okay. What do I want to change it
to? Try that one, I think. I'm kind of improvising at the moment.
All right. Oh, here we go. It's doing something. It's doing something.
I don't know how. All right, let's
Jason Pantana invited me to be on a webinar to talk about AI, but I didn't really want to because it was lunchtime and I was kind of hungry. I did it anyways. Now I'm here talking to 400 plus people about AI and video for real estate.
All right. Now
what I like about this is now it's not necessarily using the latest models of 11 Labs. It's using so they're going to roll it out and they're going to increase the model. The new model will work for this. But right now, what I like about it is you can time it out with your videos so that it's perfectly in sync. And B, you can choose how it inflects. Did you notice how it actually mimicked your inflection, Tim?
Yeah.
which was nuts.
Well, the other piece on Jennifer's question, how do you get it to learn your voice? I am actually probably going to do another 2 or 3 versions of my voice, because I have my narrating voice where I've uploaded all this stuff, and it's gives me this good narrating voice. But I'm probably going to record 40 minutes or so of me talking more energetically, more salesy, more whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'll have a couple different versions of my voice. But the way you get it to learn your voice is you upload, 40 minutes to a couple hours of you talking. And so lucky me, like I've been on podcasts, I've done talks, and I just have a lot of audio to give it for it to model after.
Tap on the left-hand menu, click voices for everybody really fast. And then in the top right, where that black button that says add a new voice, will you click that for us?
Yep.
So there's a couple of options. One, there's that instant voice clone, which only needs 10 seconds of audio. If you're paying for the $5 a month version of 11 Labs, that's the one you get access to. And it's good. It's not nearly as good as what Tim's doing. But it's passable just depending upon your usage for this. What Tim did, the professional voice clone, where it needs at least 30 minutes of clean audio. So that would mean either you strip and rip the audio from things you've already done videos on and stuff like that, or you just sit there in front of your camera and you read the phone book and you talk about absolute nonsense for 30 minutes until it picks up on your voice. And being in a really quiet environment and then being intentional about the highs and the lows of your voice is going to give it a better sort of sampling of, the ups and downs and highs and lows of your voice.
Yeah. And in the comments, you can just automatically change everything to Spanish or whatever language you want it to go to. It's pretty crazy.
Yes.
But here, Jason, we are at the 25, we're at the half-hour mark. And honestly, Katie's got the best stuff on this call to talk about. And so I do want to get into her stuff, because her stuff is absolutely crushing it for sure.
Okay, cool. Katie, impress us.
Yeah, I was like, cool. I'm glad I'm here for the Tim Macy show.
Yeah,
that's right.
Great podcast.
Right. So is that a podcast? All right, let me share my screen here real quick. So what Jason had said is basically I created a new Instagram channel in December.
I'm out. Put your pinkies in the air no matter where you are and repeat after me. I will not follow this account because I love Katie and I'm grateful. I will not follow this account. Thank you, everybody. We had to do that.
Appreciate you, man.
That follow goes up. I'm going to know it came from here.
And,
someone unfollowed.
Somebody unfollowed. They're like, what was the deal?
We'll dive into the audience stuff, because there's a good reason for that.
Yeah, all good. Thank you, Hector. Jesse Roddickhouse actually unfollowed, so I appreciate you, bro. Okay, so the idea basically is breaking the news. Like, this isn't a very exciting topic, right? It's literally I consume news and then I make video scripts, I record them, and then I put them on Instagram. So all in all, it is a very simple thing to do. But we'll kind of dig into how I do it. So the first thing, as far as curating news articles, there's a couple different ways. One is actually reading the news and paying for different news sites, right? So a lot of local news sites have a paywall, right? And so, if you're like Tim and you don't want to pay for those websites, you don't actually get to read those articles. All you read is the headline. You click on it. You can't read the article. You say, that's interesting. And you move on with your day, right? I pay for all of those sites. So I'm reading those articles. I also use Google Alerts. So if you go to google.com/alerts, you can set up different alerts for different neighborhoods or keywords. You should always have one set up for your name. So like I have one set up for like Katie Day Realtor, Caitlin Day, all of that type of stuff. So if stuff is posted about me or I'm tagged in an article, I'll get a notification.
Yeah.
And then what else? You can also use like Newsbreak, Google News, whatever it may be.
Katie, real quick, can you play one of these videos for everybody?
Yeah. Super helpful.
Sure. Here, I was trying to, I'll just stop. I'll just click on.
I'm getting lost.
No, this is great.
Officially underway on a 130,210,000 square foot convention center in Valley Ranch, set to open in October 2026. Located in the entertainment district near I-69 and the Grand Parkway, this massive venue will feature a 55,000 1,000 square foot exhibit hall, meeting spaces, outdoor courtyard, and a large parking garage. Expected to generate $1.73 billion in economic activity over the next 30 years, the project will attract corporate events, trade shows, and youth sports competition, boosting demand for near.
All right. So, couple things. One, I love Hector right now.
I do too, because I want that one.
LA is too big where everybody in a small market will say their town's too small. Like there's so much stuff to cover. Like we just want to cover things that people think is relevant and interesting. And there's a ton to cover in LA and that's fine. Like there's not too much, like you don't have too much to cover. Just cover it all.
And what I would say is I would start with just your it is nearly impossible to cover it all. I'm in La Puente. I would start with just that, right? And East San Gabriel Valley and Inland Empire. And I would just do that. And then as other things come up that could potentially be controversial or interesting, potentially cover those as well. But I would start small and go out from there. What are the stories that are relevant and important to your audience? Another thought is like, so for me, I personally live near downtown Houston, but I have teammates in different areas of town, right? And so if you look on our page, this is my agent here that lives an hour north of the city. She does everything in Montgomery. My agent, David, who lives in town, does a lot of the stories that are in town. My teammate, Rudy, is down here somewhere here. He's doing everything that's down on the south side of town, right? So if you have a team, it's another way to get other agents in and also, lessen the burden a little bit by having other people, in the content.
So the first step here is doing the research to find the local news. Now, Katie, have you deployed Grok or Deep Research or Perplexity or any tools like that for actually finding sources or articles?
So I have not. I know like a lot of people are using like Notebook LM and Grok and stuff like that. I am reading it because I also want to know what's going on. And I find when I just take an article and copy paste it, I don't actually read it. And so me reading it helps me to also be a little bit more tuned in so that I can have good conversations.
Katie, can you stop your share? And I'm going to share really quick and show you a hack.
Yeah.
So I'm using Grok. I like Grok's Deep Research the best. They just rolled out this deeper research, but it takes like 20 minutes to run its search. So we're going to just use the regular deep research. But I would say something like, in fact, I'm going to go into the chat really fast. I want to find Hector's comment if I can. I want to grab the name of his.
In one piece, Katie, your audience, you're hitting Houston, but
I
then
just
you're
pasted it again at the end, Jason.
A ton of the suburbs. Like when you look at your audience, you're not just hitting Houston with this content. All the people in the suburbs of Houston are on it as well.
Yeah.
I thought we were copy pasting, Jason. No, we're not.
It won't copy from the. I couldn't.
Okay. All right.
I copied it. And I pasted it again in the chat for you.
I'm tech challenged.
Did you try Command C, Jason?
And then after that, Jason, it's Command D.
Hey, I don't need hostile guests.
I'm being helpful. Was that not helpful?
Helpful, hostile. It's hard to tell the difference.
Audience, I hope you
met me?
I hope you enjoy our passive aggressiveness.
Find articles about living in or moving to La Puente, California, that a local would want to know. Published in the past 7 days only. So then it will do its deep research and it's thinking, and you can literally actually get inside of its thought process. This is what it's thinking about. And it's like, so my first function would be to do this and then this, and it's breaking down its thoughts for you, which I think is just wild. And it's just scanning through a bunch of websites, and look how local it gets. This is to Katie and Tim's point about whether you live in a big town or a small town, it's the internet. And the internet has so much data and information on it. Your ability to wrap your arms around the sources exist. So once it's already done 29 web pages. And so Katie, the way I see it, there's kind of two options. You can wait for its synopsis or just see what it found. And then you could go grab the articles that you liked and you could make that the basis of a video. Just an idea.
You'd have to train it, right? Because like what I'm looking at right now is like moving to, living in.
Well, I would probably prompt it better too. I mean, I gave kind of a loosey-goosey prompted.
But here's the piece, Jason, that I want everybody to kind of hit on. Nobody is reading their local news. Nobody gets the newspaper anymore. And the fact is there's still local news happening. Nobody's consuming it because they're scrolling through Instagram. And so Katie has crushed it in the last 4 months. But Katie, like, this is not a super original thing, right? We have a lot of agents that are doing the same strategy and they're all crushing it. And the reason is Nobody reads the local news, and you have this opportunity to be the local news. And it's super simple. Katie's just putting her face in front of a static image and talking. And you know what's funny is I got some agents that are more energetic on camera, and I think they actually have a tough time with this because you don't need all that energy that you normally do. Like, you just need to speak the facts and tell people what's going on.
Tim, I got to tell, just an interjection before Katie dives back into the strategy. I love the fact that we can sit here and talk about there are numerous agents doing this. And we know that there are. That's part of the power of, I mean, like, I know that you're sharing these best practices through the Facebook groups and through the events with REVB and all. Excuse me, I diverted. It's REVB now, isn't it? I called it REVB.
I call it REVB, but it's
we're not settled. You call it whatever you want to call it, Jason. We're happy.
I like REVB. It's catchy. All right, Katie, share your screen up again, and let's jump in. There's questions about, are you doing a teleprompter? Is there a green screen? Let's just walk them start to finish through the technique of.
Yeah, I will try to hop in. Okay, so basically what I will do is I will find an article online that I like. And so here I come.
There's a great debate happening in the comments right now about whether it's REVB or REVB. This is great. There's left and right side of the aisle on this, apparently.
There's nothing more divisive than the name of REVB. All right.
I also like when people just call it Rev. They're like, oh, is it Rev coming up?
Someone said Reverb the other day, and I was like,
Reverb's the one. Yeah, that one too.
That's where you sell gear for musicians.
So I found, you would know about that, right, Jason? So you would find an article. So I like this. I'm going to just take this and I'll copy it. I'm going to come into ChatGPT.
Okay. So just really quick, she found a local article. She's copying all the text.
Yep.
As it is,
and so I Command C or Control C, depending on if you're a PC or Mac. Jason, if you want to write that down.
Hang on. Is there a reason why you're not just grabbing the link itself?
Because I'm not as smart as you. I haven't watched every module in class, apparently.
Well, sometimes websites restrict ChatGPT from actually accessing their web pages, but I would always try to grab the actual URL first.
Yeah. Okay.
It's easier.
Well, clearly that's not what I've done, but I'll go ahead. So then I type in here, can you please provide a 1-paragraph video script? And then I just paste this, right?
Great. And so I want everybody to notice it says Houston Unlocked up at the top there. So she's clearly using a custom version of ChatGPT. It's within what's called a project, which we'll explain momentarily. Do you want to talk about the script I wrote first?
Yeah. And then I take the script and I copy this, or I can click this little copy down here if I want to be slightly more efficient. And I paste it into a note on my phone, which I then put into a Big View teleprompter, BIGVU teleprompter, and I read the script, right? I then will go into Canva. I have this template made. You can really do whatever you want with this, but I have the 3 image, and it's basically just a frame that I have.
Simple. It's great.
Drawn.
You got to group together.
Here. Yep. And then I can drag photos over. Oop, where'd it go? Photos over. And so I was editing some of these earlier today, but we'll just for sake.
Are these stock photos, or do you find photos? How does that work?
So these photos, the question that people always ask is like about copywriting and things like that, basically, or copyrights and things like that. And so I will generally just take photos either that we can take ourselves, right? So like, as I said, like we have teammates all throughout the greater Houston area, so we'll take them ourselves, or I use the renderings or photos from the original source. So like, I'm not going to take the photo if it's from a Houston Business Journal photographer or Houston Chronicle photographer, right? But I will take it if it's from First Colony Mall, which is what this is, out for press release. And so in doing a lot of these, I've actually talked to some developers who send me now when they're like, hey, we're here's a press release, and they send out like the Word doc with Dropbox links to all of their photos and images and renderings, so that's what we use to try to stay within.
So you have some level of legal intelligence in terms of not violating some kind of a copyright rule with photos.
I have some level of intelligence. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, that's exactly. Wait a minute.
I mean, I also wouldn't overthink it, though, right? I mean, we try to stay away from copyright stuff that's in a news article, but I don't know. I wouldn't overthink it.
Yeah. All right. So let's jump back over to your screen share for Katie. I want to dive a little bit.
So
questions coming in here that we'll clarify as we walk through the process.
All right. And then, so can you guys see this?
Yeah. So now we're in CapCut. Okay.
Hold on. It's loading. Here, let me unshare and reshare.
Yeah, share your whole desktop if you don't mind. Of course, your
It's
your
I
monitor
have
is
a
ginormous.
well, so the problem is I have a 49-inch screen, so I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
It'll go too small. So all right.
Okay.
Now what I have open is CapCut. And so what I do in CapCut is
A major upgrade is coming to Sugarland.
All right, so I drag the video in here. So I
Okay, so
shot
straight off your
this.
Finder window. That's the video that you recorded with Big View, right?
Yep. And so, couple of things. Normally, there's a little pause at the beginning, so I'll cut that
Katie,
out.
what'd you record the video on?
Big View.
All right,
What Jason just said.
let's pause there for a second.
But
Okay?
I mean, is that on your phone or a camera?
Phone.
Phone. Using
So
the
she's
phone.
got her iPhone sitting on some kind of a tripod or something, correct?
Windowsill.
On a windowsill. So she's getting the day. It's a smart hack actually, because the window has good daylight, so you get good lighting.
Some level of intelligence.
Yeah. So and you're not even mic'd up by the. It looks like you're just using the mic on the phone. Is that right?
Not even mic'd up.
Now, remind me, I want to talk about how do you improve the quality of low quality audio. If we don't cover that, I want to circle back to that. But so the camera's sitting on your window sill, and you have the teleprompted script that was written by ChatGPT. You copied and pasted that from ChatGPT to an Apple Note. That Apple Note synced between your Mac and your phone. You went into your phone, you copied that same note from your notes in your Apple iPhone, and then you pasted that into a new project in BigView, BIGVU, which is a mobile app that has a built-in teleprompter feature where on your screen you can read what you wrote. Does that make sense?
Yep. It also has iCorrect too. I saw Ginger put that in the chat. You can use iCorrect in there or in like captions or I know CapCut has one that they came out with recently. I've gotten to the point where I read the sentence and read the thing. So I feel like I do an okay job of looking at the camera enough that I'm not looking like this at the screen. But I know, if you're getting used to using a teleprompter, it may make sense to use the iCorrect in there as well.
So the big three that do that best. So I want to make sure we understand what the eye contact correction is for those who are watching. So when she's staring at the glass on her iPhone, she's not looking at the camera lens.
Yeah.
And so it looks like she's avoiding eye contact, kind of like somebody looks when you're doing a Zoom with them and they're looking at you on the screen, but you can tell they're not making eye contact because they're actually looking at you. And so these tools, the three that do it best are BigView, BIGVU, Captions, also called Captions AI, and then Descript, DE Script. They're the three that do the eye contact correction the best, in my opinion. And what they do is after you record your video, there's one button you push and it will frame by frame, the AI will go through every single frame of your video. A video is just a motion picture. And so it might be 30 frames per second. It will find your eyes in all frames, all 30 per second, and then figure out where should they have been looking if they've been looking at the camera lens, whether your face is smiling or frowning or turning to the right or to the left, that kind of a thing. And so the AI can discern the context of your entire face and then determine intelligently where should your eyes be at that moment so it looks absolutely real. Anyways, so then you download your video.
So download the video and then upload it to my computer. You mentioned the audio. So one of the things in here, in CapCut, you can come in here and click on audio and you can do enhance voice.
Yep.
To improve your voice in here. You can also do it in like captions. There's many different ways. I could export this and use Adobe Enhance, but like easiest way
is my favorite, but it's just one more step to do it that way.
Yeah. And so, here, let me unenhance. Let's see.
A major upgrade is coming to Sugar.
And so then if I click on this and click audio, enhance voice, you can also change the intensity, right?
Yeah,
and then the other thing,
it's not loaded all the way in yet, Katie. So try it now.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it take a minute. And then you can also increase the volume. And so normally, like if it's super quiet, I'll increase it just a little bit as well.
A major upgrade is coming to Sugarland's First Colony Mall. The mall is the first.
All right. So once I do that, I'm then going to also click on the video. I'm going to come in here to remove BG, which is remove background, and click auto removal. And so a lot of people do this in using the green screen feature in Instagram, but it's not as like, this is so much more clean.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to drag.
The edging on the Instagram one is just, it's all feathery and nasty around your ears and stuff.
Feathery and nasty. Yeah. Yeah. And then I basically drag in the photo. I make this a little bit smaller. And then my cue is like, I just bring this down here to the corner.
Yep.
And
that's sort of your jam.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
And then
a major upgrade is coming to Sugarland's.
Normally I will for sake of today's call, I'm not going to edit it out, but you see here at the bottom how there's some breaks where I have pauses.
Yeah. So you just
I would cut those out, right? But then I'm going to come in here and I'll add in captions. And so you can pick whatever fonts you want or anything.
I'm sure you know CapCut did offer the transcription editing. So Descript has been famous for transcription editing, where it will transcribe your video and give you like a document. But they have they can automatically remove all your gaps now for you.
But one thing, Jason, Katie, like I love getting into the tactical weeds of exactly how you're doing this. Corey just dropped the comment. I feel overwhelmed. How much time does it take you to do this? Like, this is like, it seems overwhelming right now, maybe with all the stuff we're throwing out and all the things in the chat. It's pretty simple. I mean, Katie's just recording on her phone, talking about this article. She's making this image. She's putting it behind her, and then she's just chopping out some ums and ahs. Like, once you figure out how to do this, it does not take you that long. Katie,
the other thing to think about is the benefits of it. And so she's generating, I mean, here's the reality. Making video and editing it and trying to keep up with the algorithms and making enough content to win is an absolutely daunting task. There's not a scenario where it is completely easy. What this does is make it easier and faster so she can scale it and batch it. It would obviously be easier just to record a video on my iPhone and do nothing else. But that doesn't mean it will perform.
But Katie, now that you have this down, how long does it take you to do one video?
Probably like 10 minutes total. You know, like, because it's like drop it in ChatGPT, drop it in, you know, on my teleprompter, record it. So like what I'll do is I'll take 4 or 5 videos and record all of those at one time, and then come in here and edit them all. Just so that, you know, I'm not, unless it's something that's like news break, I have to post this ASAP right now, do it, go. It has to happen. You know, if it's just kind of like random news that doesn't need to be posted immediately. So right now, what I was showing is CapCut.
Yeah.
And so it's funny. Bruce Needle said laptop CapCut isn't as easy as iPad. So Bill Olson is a good friend of mine who does this in Charleston, South Carolina. He does all of the editing on his phone. So he shoots in his truck and he edits on his phone, and he does it all like just in his car. Right. And we were arguing over it. I was like, God, I can't edit on my phone to save my life. It takes me so long. And he's like, well, I can't edit on the computer. It takes me so long. So it's one of those things that I think you just kind of have to figure out what works the best for you. And as David dropped in the chat, it could be a VA, right? So it doesn't have to be you doing that. Someone else.
Sorry, this is Bill Olson's page. The other thing I just want to hit on is, look, like Bill Olson is crushing it. Ken Posick, crushing it. Our dude Rick Lee, same thing, crushing it. And it's like, I think doing it the way Katie's doing is really simple, really easy. But at the end of the day, like, find the way that you can do it. Like, you don't have to do it exactly this way, but if you try to do it exactly this way, you'll probably find your way that works. Honestly, I think some of you guys can probably do this and not even have your face on it. I think you could probably just have voiceover with text and maybe a couple different images. But the biggest thing here that I want people to understand is, it's obviously not what camera you're using, because Katie's just using her phone. It's not like having good audio is important, but that's not even super important. It's having the most relevant news that you're talking about, because a lot of you are going to go try this and it's not going to work. And you're going to be thinking about the editing. You're going to be thinking about the camera. The only thing you should think about is, what is the relevant news to the world and how am I saying it? Because that is what makes certain content take off and certain content not do anything.
And so I was going to ask you to go back to your Canva really quick, because I want to double what Tim's saying.
2 comments that were put in the chat. Can we create an avatar with Hey Jen? And pretty soon she'll just need to paste the script and the AI avatar will talk. I mean, we know people that are doing that as well. Sorry, I'm trying to, you said Canva?
Yeah.
Trying to get it pulled up.
But the short answer is, I mean, yeah, there's nothing saying you couldn't do that. Absolutely, you could do that.
We have some agents that are already there doing it. We just haven't seen any of those channels really take off yet. And so we don't like to talk about stuff until we know it's working.
Yeah, same. I would make the argument that little card with what she's going to put there as the hook, the topic of the video, is arguably the most important part of the strategy. And the reason for that is because that's what the viewer sees and takes the time to read while she's talking. And it's what locks them there. And this is piggybacking on what Tim said, which is, what makes this strategy successful is the fact that it's going after hyper local information, and it's building an audience of people who are hyper locally interested in her marketplace. And then she's feeding them enough content where she can put this on a flywheel and produce a massive amount of content. And the algorithm is getting behind it and pushing it out to a bunch of locals, and she's gaining followers. And now she has an audience that she can email, that she can start running ads against, that she can target with CTAs and convert customers over time. So, I mean, I get it. There's still a few steps involved, but if you really look at this, and if you're going to be committed to doing it like every day or once a week, you're going to batch it out. It's, hey, I'm going to research some topics. ChatGPT is going to write some scripts. I'm going to put them into a teleprompter and read them while the camera's recording me. I'm going to throw it into CapCut and throw a background behind it. Repeat.
We got some questions to dive into. But like you said, Jason, I don't know of another strategy that you can build such a large local audience as fast as you can here with as little work.
I agree.
A couple of years ago, we were talking about 20-minute long YouTube videos that took a lot more work than these do. And so, all Katie, right. How many of these a week are you putting out?
I'm going to fly through some of these questions real quick. So yeah, as far as quantity, I'm posting at least one per day. My goal is to have 8 to 15 posted every single week. So I'm trying to shoot at least 10 every single week myself, and then other people on my team assisting with some of them as well. All of this was grown organically. I haven't boosted anything or put any money behind it. As far as starting the new account, similar to Tim in, he said he was in San Antonio, then he moved to Connecticut, and then, he speaks and he does all of these things. So he has a bunch of agent followers. My movement to Texas account has about anywhere between 8 to 15% of Houston followers. This account here has 60% based on the cities that you can see in your analytics. Those are all, Houston based followers. And so it's a very local audience. As far as getting this to a business generating thing right now, what I'm working on is the local reach and building an email audience. I've already started to do stories, because we know that's where the conversion happens, right? For people that are on Instagram. And so my stories are very trivial things. Like, did you go to the rodeo? Did you enjoy the weather this weekend? Did you get outside today? Did you do this? Did you do that? Like stupid stuff that no one really cares about, to get people used to voting on a poll in my story. Then I'm going to start adding in, hey, I'm going on a listing appointment. Hey, do you know anyone that's looking to move to the Galleria? Things that aren't like, do you want to buy or sell a house? And then that's when, after that, I'll go into more, direct CTAs of like, hey, I'm going on a listing appointment and working on an equity review. Do you want one for your property type thing? So it's a longer play because this is a news account. If you have a local account, or if you have a real estate account, chances are you don't have as many agent followers and a more local base. And so the like Rick Lee, Bill Olson, these people that have started this, not in about the same time frame I have, they're already garnering business from it because it's already their real estate account. So they're just continuing their stories the same as they've always been, and they're converting clients from that. I don't want to completely do away with all of the trust that I built thus far, right?
Yeah.
And it's a little bit slower of a play on that front.
So
go ahead.
I was going to say the thing, honestly, one of our huge focuses at REVB is how we build an audience in the feed. Like, you build an audience in the feed, you build your local audience, you build all these people. Too many times we try to advertise in the feed, and it's not the place to do it. And so we build the audience in the feed with this local driven content. Right. We convert the audience in stories and DMs. That's where conversations happen. That's where conversion happens. And so we're not selling in the feed. We then get to post stories, and then we get to then convert in DMs and email, right? We don't talk about that enough. But the fact is, Katie, to be able to start an Instagram page 4 months ago and then have 1.7 million views a month now that are all like, she said 60%, but I'd guess that it's a lot higher. And even the people that are outside the 60%, maybe out of her area looking to move to it, but it is her target audience, 1.7 million views. And that's where she gets to convert that audience in stories and DMs, not in the feed. And so there's a lot that goes into that, like what conversion mechanisms are you using and all that fun stuff. But for us, that's what we've seen to be very successful.
We should do a follow-up on that at some point. I've been teaching a new social media framework called it's cheesy as all get out. I call it the hook, look, and book strategy, where it's you create.
Did you come up with
content,
that yourself, or did
I
ChatGPT?
Can we
actually
put
had
that on a
ChatGPT help
t-shirt?
me with that. The hook, look, and
Could the
book.
look be Jason with his
No.
fabulous hair?
No. You have to consider the fact that your reels, most people's reels, are mostly being consumed by an audience of non-followers. And so this is your first point of contact with them. And so what you're looking to do is establish a level of consistency in the kind of content you're creating that they're going to be interested in. And then their natural response is they're going to go look at you. They're going to read your bio. They're going to see if there's other videos like that. And if they like what they see, they're going to follow. But if you think about your stories, the only people who see your stories are the existing followers you've already generated. So you use the reels to get the followers. You use the stories, like Tim is saying, to convert them into an action point. All the creators you went through, like Kim Pozak, for instance, they're all going after more of a top of funnel, moving to living in local news approach, just to get sort of a frothy top of funnel. And then they're CTAing them, that is calling them to action in their stories to get emails. And then the email list starts working on it. They run ads, and that's the funnel they're creating with social media. So it may not be for everybody, but if you're looking to build an audience on social that can produce a steady supply of leads down the road, this is the path to be followed. And these are AI tools that can help you do it faster and help you do it more efficiently.
And then a couple of questions. I know my man Bruce was asking about, was this a Facebook strategy? This mostly is an Instagram strategy because of the Instagram algorithm in particular, and because of the collab feature. And so
one thing that you can do on Facebook, or that you can do now, is you don't have to post it to Facebook, but it pushes to Facebook. If you notice that, a lot of times if you're on Facebook Reels, it'll say like comment. And when you click to comment, it'll take you to Instagram.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing with all of these as well.
Yeah.
But I think when we do this on Instagram, the collab feature is big if you choose to do this, because like you're saying, where am I going to put my listing videos? And when Katie has this channel, there's a couple different benefits. One, it's all news, right? It's all news. And the ones that Katie does, she collabs with her real estate agent profile, and she's probably getting a good amount of followers that are like, oh, yeah, no, she looks cool. I'll follow that. And then on her agent profile, she can go ahead and be posting more of those listing videos and in the mix. But it also allows her as a team leader to have a place for her team to be posting videos. And so it's not just her on these videos. And Ken Pozak's done it with the Orlando Reel, where he's got other people posting on there as well. And because that collab feature, you know, like Diane and I could do New England pizza, and we could just go and review all the best pizza in New England. The ones that I do, I'll collab with my profile. The one she does, she collabs with her profile. We build that local audience that's specific to that area, and that collab feature can drive them to our, you know, page with more real estate stuff.
Yeah. So once again, that's another way to convert. So I don't want to get lost in all the secondary benefits of the strategy. I think the core of the strategy is Katie has a system that has allowed her to grow a hyperlocal following relatively painlessly with efficiencies that she's getting through AI. And then there's a whole bunch of other like cool extras. I think it's awesome that she can convert in the stories. And I see a lot of questions. I think it's awesome that she can leverage her Facebook group or collab with other accounts and drive people to and from different pages to convert. But I think step one is you've got to get yourself creating video. How are you going to leverage the tools of the day to get yourself on a flywheel of creating video? There was a question earlier that I think we should probably hit, which is, and I don't want to get too in the weeds on this. I'm almost regretting that I'm bringing it up, but I'm bringing it up.
Here we are.
Here we are. There was a question about why did Katie start a new Instagram channel? And I think we have to talk about it.
No, I talked about it a little bit, right? So my local reach on my Move Me to Texas account used to be around 15%. Now it's around 8 to 10%, right? Sometimes it goes a little higher, sometimes it goes a little bit lower. But on my Move Me to Texas account, the local reach was so low. And so, you know, if you're on this call and you're not in Houston, Texas, do you care about what's happening in Houston, Texas if you follow me on Instagram? You probably don't, right? And so I knew that if I put this on my Move Me to Texas account, that all of my agent followers and people that already follow me were going to be like, well, this is boring. I don't care. Keep scrolling. Right. And so I created the new account in order to be able to have like a clean algorithm to see, hey, if I do all the things that I know work, will it work for me too? And that's why I did it. I would say if you go into your insights and your analytics on your Instagram profile and you have 40% or more people that are in Tampa Bay, Florida, or in, you know, Los Angeles, California, or in wherever you sell real estate, do not create a second account. Have the one account, do the thing, add this as a post that you do 2 or 3 or 4 times a week, whatever you feel comfortable doing. Once a week is fine too, right? And increase your local reach and continue to do what you've already been doing. And you'll actually convert to sales faster because they'll follow you. And what I was pulling up earlier was someone asked about the captions and hashtags. The only caption that I have in mind that's the same on everything is follow Houston Unlocked for more Houston news and development updates like these. Bill Olson, I think, has a good thing in his. He says, be sure to follow me. I'm a local realtor and I keep up with what's going on in Charleston.
Good.
So you don't have to. And so that's the key, is like, he's just saying, hey, I'm a local realtor. He's not saying, hey, come buy or sell a house with me. That's not the CTA. The CTA is, hey, follow me because I keep up with what's going on.
It's good. It's really good.
Jason, okay. I want to wrap this up here. And one, I see a lot of notes and stuff. I could tell you, Katie and I are doing a ton to like package stuff up for REVB this year, as far as exactly how to do stuff, what other people are doing and everything else. And then we're also doing a lot of stuff in AI Marketing Academy, as far as how we're using 11 Labs. We're probably going to start using HeyGen, and a lot of that stuff's going to be documented in there as far as this stuff goes. And so, yeah, I would just say, like, if you're thinking about doing this, the thing that Katie said is you can commit and just go all in on doing this stuff on your personal page. I would just say, like, start cutting out some of that other content you may be doing that's not working and just do this, because our agents that have blown up are ones that have stayed hyper focused on just pumping out nothing or almost like 90% news content, and then it takes off. And so cut out some of the fluff on your pages if you're going to go all in on this.
So let's do this. I want to give folks who are here, as we're winding things down, a couple of reminders and then a couple of next steps.
Do you want me to drop my GPT on here?
Yeah, drop your GPT in there. Yeah, that'd be great.
I made a GPT of, like, all you have to do is paste in an article.
Yeah,
and
click
so
on
hop
that.
in here.
Yeah, click on
and
that.
And then if you need help with the Instagram stuff, as far as like people are asking, you know, looking at the insights, looking at this, need to do this, need to do that, DM me and I'm happy to chat.
Yeah. Katie, that's very generous. If you're looking for that, it's in the chat. So go click on that link for Katie's custom GPT. You might be wondering, why did her video script from ChatGPT seem to write it in one paragraph? Because she told it to, and the instructions of the GPT for the research and so forth. So click on that to get that resource today. A couple of next steps for you to consider. One, for those who are thinking about putting themselves in an environment where they're around like-minded people leveraging video, and how do they scale their video creations with AI, when and where can they get connected to going to REVB? Let's start there.
We have a website. No, one, if you DM Katie or I on Instagram, we'll have to send you info. realestatevideoblueprint.com. And Katie, do we have a discount code for everybody that's here today?
I'd love to provide a discount code for everyone that's here today. I would love to. I would love to.
Do you know how much you're? That's okay. We can work on the DM.
Yeah, but we'd love to see you guys. And if you have any questions on that event, definitely ping us on it, because we are really passionate about that one. But Jason, look, you're going to come down. You're going to be talking about a bunch of AI stuff. And what's fun about the AI stuff is there's something new every week almost, And so by the time this event comes around at the end of April, we're probably going to have new things that we're going to be working on. But like, I've gotten a ton of value from AI Marketing Academy, which is where I found 11 Labs, which is where I found a lot of this stuff. And so I would say too, like, if you can't make REVB, like, you should definitely be looking at Marketing Academy, because this stuff is changing all the time.
Yeah. And if you're interested in doing that, here's the link to go to. If you go to academy.jasonpantana.com, that's the link. It's Academy. In fact, you know what you could do? You could just scan this code. I did a presentation earlier today. So
I'm also just dropping it in the chat.
Yeah. Academy.jasonpantana.com. And if you scan that code, this is a monthly membership. So there's no contracts. It's month by month is the membership. The retail on this is $199 per month. However, I would like to also, in the spirit of giving discount codes, I would like to double down. If you put in AIM50 off at the checkout spot for this, when you're signing up, there's a little, put your promotional code in. And if you put down AIM50 off, it will take off half, not just for this month, for every month as long as you're a member. Half off every single month as long as you're a member. If you scan that code right there, AIM50 off. I think AI is absolutely the technology of the day. I think it saves so much time. I think that it allows us to do marketing and activities and operations that we were never considering doing before. And so go to REVB, join the academy, just do your own research, whatever it takes for you to put yourself in a day-by-day state of action of learning, okay, what is AI? How do I use it? How do I scale it? Where am I limited so that I can do more? All right. Anything to add for final notes, guys?
I just realized Tim and I both were sending chats, and we were only sending them to the hosts and panelists, not to everyone. So I just dropped.
Is that what it was?
Yep,
Oh,
that's why everyone.
Oh my God.
I'm like, why are all these people asking? I'm putting it in the chat. It's because I was only sending it to me and Jason and Tim. So I just dropped REVB, AIM, and the Chat GPT, and that's not y'all. It is me. But I did use Command V to get that in there.
I've been working this comment section the whole time. I feel like the kid that you give the remote controller to and they think they're playing the video game. They're not actually playing.
Like, that's what I feel like right now. I feel like you kind of carried the webinar altogether, Tim.
Oh my goodness. That is
so can we do another vote on who their favorite person on the call is?
Is it Tim or Katie? Tim or Katie? Let us know in the comments. Tim or Katie? Katie.
Look,
Raphael changed his answer.
Dude, that's such a good example. Like I won at the beginning.
Beth, I love you all.
I love you equally. Oh, I got to vote. See, I intentionally myself. My ego can't handle this. I can't be on the. I
love it though. After an hour of dealing with us, everybody voted Katie.
Kaima says Hatch.
Katie.
I think Hatch will be there too. We gotta get
Jason and Katie.
All right.
Yeah.
Can we? Can you, Jason, export the chat for me so that I can figure out how many people voted for me?
Yeah. Hey, I've never even tried that. I'm gonna click the pop out window, and I've never exported the chat.
I want to just real quick for our OG 300s that are still here, guys, go make these videos. Like I'm really passionate about how well these videos work, and feel free to like send them to me, get some feedback or whatever. But so many people are like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I learn how to do this? I could tell you right now, you will learn how to do this by doing it. Like just get out there and make some of these videos, send them to us. I'd love to give you some feedback, but most of all, I just love to see you posting some of this content because I know it's working. All right. I know it's working. And we see so many things get thrown at us all the time that we don't know it's working. Like this is working. So by all means, go knock it out.
Absolutely. All right. Recording is coming to everybody who's on the webinar. Even if you missed the webinar, you're going to get the recording. Get to work. Katie, Tim, thank you so much for your generosity and sharing. Everybody, don't go follow Katie's new account. You can follow Movie to Texas. You're the best. Oh, I got to turn my reactions on. I can't be left out of this. Hang on. Oh, you already did that one. I'm going to do...
I got nothing. No balloons. I don't have reaction.
One peace sign is balloons.
I got fireworks. Tim, you're a loser. Just kidding.
Oh, God,
I'm sorry, that was really harsh.
I know. That was like really something harsh. You would say off a call.
Not in front of 300 of our closest friends.
Yeah.
Lindsay, DM me on Instagram. I'm doing an event in Connecticut next week, going through a lot of this stuff. Love to see if you're randomly in Connecticut. Shoot me a DM on the gram.
On the gram. Tim, I actually think you're a swell guy. That's what I really think.
Not a loser.
Not a loser. You're awesome. All right, everybody. You're all awesome. Have a great week. Go sell some houses, do some marketing, scale your businesses. You're the best. Step into your second quarter with absolute power. Let's go. See ya.
Let's do it.
Bye.